Okay. So this is what I got going on here. Okay. I'm just looking at clicking around some stuff here in Zoom. Couple of general announcements first before I get into class stuff. First of all, um, we're going on about a year anniversary now since we originally went home and didn't come back till fall. Okay, it was early March last year. We started hearing the rumors and this and that, and it was actually around I think March 12th was our last day we met, and it was a Friday the 13th that the students were off and the teachers were going to have a professional development day. So on that Thursday, the announcement went out to students. That'd be the 12th of March last year to make sure they bring their laptops home. Then the next day, we came to our professional development after hearing overnight that they were going to cancel at least till spring break. And what we were going to do that day, work on curriculum. Instead, they had us start working on what we're going to do to teach online, and the rest is history. We went through all those different eras. First, it was the first few weeks without just till spring break. Then we found out it was going to be the rest of the school year. Then summer came, and then we ended up coming back late. Hello. You always come in the middle of my Zoom meetings. Okay. Yep. I'm in a Zoom meeting. I always have one at 2 o'clock. 20, 25 minutes. What? Well, either way, I got it. I'm in the middle of this. I can't do anything right now. Okay. Yep. Okay. So, hello. We got Tyler joined us, I see. And I had someone come here. They always show up when I'm in the middle of a Zoom meeting to do something. Matthew's here. Okay. So back to what I was talking about. We had our 1 year anniversary of our this crazy year we got going on, which brings me to the next big announcement. The next big announcement is you are not you guys, because you guys are virtual, but most of my classes, my other classes, we're going back 4 days a week starting on March 22nd. So they announced that the hybrid classes will go back to 4 days a week. Now that could change depending on health statistics and outbreaks and all that kind of stuff. But as of right now, it looks like on March 22nd, we'll be back 4 days a week. I assume the 4 days are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, which means Wednesday would stay the same. That won't affect you guys because you're going to leave virtual as is. Now, jumping to next fall, they're going to have virtual still, probably on some limited basis. May not be near as many choices, but they might do some kind of virtual. I'm not sure. The other thing is now virtual. I mean, the 4 days we're going back for the rest of the people that may or may not apply. I mean, they could change, but we'll see. Now tomorrow I'm going to be here. I'm not going to be here first thing in the morning. I'm not going to be here at 7:30, but I'm going to come in around 9:15 and stay till probably around 3. So if you're interested, any of you coming in, and I have a lab next door, a really nice Mac lab. You might say, well, I've never worked on Macs before. If you come in, you got two options. You can either work on one of my Macs. It's pretty easy for me to show you how to use it, or you can bring in your school computer and just work on that. And you might say, why would I come in and do that? It's a nice environment to work. I mean, you can get a lot done. I can help you with some things, and it could be quite productive. So if that interests you, either just show up tomorrow after like about 9:15. If you come earlier than that, they do have the cafeteria open if you want to go sit in there until I get here, or there might be other teachers around you could go see. I'm not sure, but I won't get here till about 9:15. So that's what's going on with that. Now, first thing I want to do here is take a quick look here at our Google Classroom. And jumping ahead to this week here, yesterday I talked a little bit about these lesson files. It's got two backgrounds and a guy that we're going to put on the front, and I'm going to try to demonstrate that on today as to one way to do that. Okay, these are just materials. This is not an assignment here, just materials. Now, I'll come back to this one last. First, we got the photography basics. That's just a few videos and answer some questions or whatever. Do a sheet. That's pretty simple. So that's just covering some basics. Learn the basics of photography. Whatever type of camera you have, whether it's a traditional camera, your phone camera, it's good to know the basics, know fundamentals on taking good pictures and at least a little bit about settings for photos. And that can make a huge difference in your pictures. For example, let's say you want to go take pictures at a track meet and you're kind of imagining getting a really nice shot, someone going over a hurdle or a high jump. They're like in the middle of the air over that, and you want to get them frozen in the air as they jump. Okay. If you just do an auto setting, you might end up with some blurry, but sometimes you like blurry. I'm not saying it's always bad. If you don't know what you're doing, you may not know what settings would work best. Now, sometimes there might be a sports option where you click a button on your phone and it automatically sets it for things like that. Even better is knowing what settings you can do. So, for example, the shutter speeds basically double. So you can have like a 15th of a second, a 30th of a second, a 60th of a second. Instead of 120, it's actually 125 of a second, and then 1 250 and 1 500 and so on. So those are shutter speeds. So what is a good speed for? By the way, the bigger the number, the faster the shutter goes. So the bigger the number, the probably better for the type of shot that you want if there's enough light for it. So if you can handle 125th of a second, that's probably about the lowest you'd want for something like that. And you might still end up with a little bit of a blur. If you went to 1 250th of a second, you're probably getting close to getting someone frozen in midair over a high jump or a hurdle or something. And if you went to 1/500th of a second, then it should look quite good frozen in midair. And of course, if you went to something like 1,000th of a second, you'd really be frozen in midair. So that's some of the settings. So just, learning about some basics about photography. This word assignment I'm going to talk about. I actually checked out a Windows laptop so I can make some tutorials for you guys, which I plan to do probably tomorrow. So I'll have more about this on Thursday to help you guys out. But at the same time, I want you guys to go through, do the best you can. You have to get in the full version of Word, which I've been talking about since week 1. And you have to be able to follow along the documentary or the lesson. There's a lesson in here. It is Word for Windows. So most of you have that because of your school laptops. So, just do your best. If you just follow along, maybe do it in little pieces. This one's short. It's only 20 minutes. So you can zip through this and get this done in no time whatsoever. But actually, the tutorials I'm going to do aren't going to necessarily replace this. They're going to be for some of the general skills of Windows and that. And being a Mac user, it's a little bit different. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to check it out on the Windows side. Now, the big assignment for the week, so to speak, well, that's actually the biggest assignment, your Word tutorial, which I give a lot of points for something that really isn't that much work. Now, your Photoshop assignment. First of all, I give you directions on how you can get Photoshop. You can get a free 14-day trial. And if that's all you need to get through the assignment, that's fine. Also, there's a way you can log in and keep it for free as long as you have a Harper Creek login. So if you want to give that a try, you just would go through like you're going to buy it. You log in, you use your Harper Creek login. At some point, it's going to ask you, like, is this for a business or an organization or work or something? And then the other option is it personal? You never put down personal. You always put down organization, business, education, whatever option there is like that. If you put personal, then they're going to want you to pay for it, But if you do it the other way with your Harper Creek login, it should go all the way through and allow you to get through it and keep it or download it or whatever. So that's why that's there. It says watch a tutorial. Watch the video tutorial and follow if you get Photoshop to learn some basics Photoshop, opening them. Okay, did I? Yeah, that's this right here. Photoshop intro. Okay, and this here is me showing you how to do a little bit of editing in Photoshop. Sometimes people got slightly different versions of Photoshop that can look slightly different. But here's what I'm basically doing in here. I'm taking you through basics, which involves opening up a new document, picking a picture to be the background picture, which would be like a picture of the high school. I go into a little bit of detail editing that. Um, then when let's see here, I'm jumping ahead here a little bit in the tutorial. Put in some text over that. So you can have what's called layers. So you can have your image open. You can add a text layer with like Harper Creek High School on top of it. And then eventually, okay, we got our text in there and so forth. Okay, it looks like this one here just covers that, which is okay for there. I'm going to take a look at that later, see if there's anything else I want you to do. But basically, I just want you to, and now if you want to do your own version and get into, anything involving putting one image over another, putting text over an image, and use different photos of that, that's okay, as long as you show me some effort. Now, you don't have to use Photoshop. There are other photo editing software out there. It could be on your phone, on a tablet, on a computer. And if you can do some edits and some crops and some adjustments and add some text and put another picture over it and show that you've got at least some basic skills in photo editing, that would be okay too. I'm a little bit flexible on this one. I'm flexible on the software you use. It doesn't have to be Photoshop, though that's recommended. I'm flexible on if you do use a different software, you'll have to look up how to use it on your own. But layers where you put one thing over another, like one picture into another, text, which will also be on a layer, using a text tool, which often has a T on it and allows you to add some text to it. You can add the text, change colors and so forth, fonts. So it's just basically doing some basic things with Photoshop or a similar program. So if you can do Photoshop, great. I gave you directions on how to get that and do that. If not, then you can try another program if you like, but you might have to pay for it depending on what program. There are free ones and there are ones you have to pay for. So it's not hard. I give you a fair amount of flexibility. Just do your best, see what you can do, and submit it. Photography basics, like I said, is pretty straightforward. The word tutorial, which I'll talk more about later in the week, but it's pretty upfront. It's pretty, you're going to make a new Word document, you're going to make some things, and it's all, related to the video. Okay, so I think that's probably about it for today. Just doing this little basic photo editing. Now, if you want to do some of this photo editing that I explained with some layers and some text and at least 2 different pictures, if you want to do that on a phone, a lot of phones have apps that do that stuff, or you can get apps for free or cheap that do it. You want to do it on an iPad, that's okay. You just got to be able to submit it to me. Now, as you do whatever you edit, how you want it submitted, you can bring it to something like, let's see here. Yeah, you could just upload the edited photo. So you can save it, export it, whatever, depending what software you're in, and you can just upload the photo. So this is the free trial, and this is the Adobe Photoshop lesson. I'll look this over. If I need to make any adjustments, I'll let you know. Otherwise, just basically do your best from the tutorial and see what you can figure out and learn about for photo editing. So I'm going to stop sharing. Yep, I see at least one student did some photoshopping. There's also a version of Photoshop called Photoshop Elements, which some people like to buy. It's not quite as good as regular Photoshop, but it's much. You can buy it for like $70 one shot. Now at school, you don't really need that because you can log in and borrow anything that you want. So that's a really nice thing. You basically, it's like getting Photoshop or for free. But it isn't so much about the software, it's about the skills, and those can be done in a different software. That's okay. It doesn't have to be Photoshop, but Photoshop is a lot of fun to use and play with, and you can get it for free. So I recommend that you do. So that's pretty much all I have today. Are there any questions? Okay, nope. Got one nope. Okay, do your best on these assignments. Have some fun with them. If you want to use different pictures, I'm not super picky on the pictures. If you got some good ones you like to use, basically put some text on it, do some adding to the picture, and add the another picture, or at least most of it or part of it, and and show me. I do some basic photo editing. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. Everyone have a great day. Enjoy that 60s degree or whatever. We have a staff meeting after school today. I assume they're going to talk a lot about the return to school of so many people. Now, even though they haven't officially said virtual people got to come back, virtual people who are not doing well, there can be pressure to get them to come back because not everyone does well on virtual. Okay, either way, take care, Sarita and Colin and Hanson and Tyler and Matthew. If you got questions, feel free to message me or whatever. Yep. Take care, everybody.